Hey everyone, my name is Mark.
And I'm Adeline.
Today we're going to be doing a review for Inner Flash by SansMind and Felix Bodden.
So I have not seen this product. I'm going to be playing the part of you guys and asking all the questions.
Awesome.
What is Inner Flash?
So Inner Flash is a very visual transposition where a spectator selects a card, places it into a card box, and then you take another two cards, and just by tossing those two cards from one hand to the other hand, it changes into their selected card, and the card in the box changes into the two cards that was once thrown there. It sounds really confusing, but once you see the trailer, you'll get what I mean.
So in essence, it's kind of a transposition card effect?
Yes, it is a transposition, a very, very visual one at that too.
Okay, so it's a visual card transposition effect. Cool. So tell us more about your review.
Okay, so this video, as usual, you know SansMind, their video production quality is fantastic. Inside this video, or rather inside this DVD itself, you get a DVD and a gimmick that is required to build your Inner Flash gimmick. Of course, you get two choices. You can either purchase it like that, or you can purchase the one that comes with a pre-made gimmick inside already.
Oh, wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I actually haven't really seen too many products that come with either the gimmick or for you to do a DIY version. That's
Choices
cool.
are amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. Well, in that case then, yours is DIY version,
Yes,
right?
this is the DIY version. So inside here we get a little special something that helps us to craft the gimmick.
Okay.
And there is also instructions inside this DVD teaching you exactly how to make the gimmick. This gimmick is, I would say, it's very precise to make. You need to pay a lot of attention to the details to make sure everything's aligned nicely and to make sure that everything works well. And on the DVD itself, at the back here, it says that it takes about 20 minutes of DIY to do it. It took me slightly longer than that. It took me slightly more than 30 minutes.
Okay.
And that's just because I was trying to be a lot more detailed in terms of making the gimmick itself.
I see. Okay. Would you say that it is difficult to make it, or it's just detailed?
I wouldn't say it is the hardest gimmick to make because
Okay.
it definitely is not. There are just a couple of steps where you really have to be really detailed about it.
Okay.
And just for one of the steps, if you put a little bit too much pressure, you might end up screwing up the whole gimmick.
I see.
So yeah, it's quite intricate
I
when
see.
making this.
Okay. Well, I do know what the little extra something is, and I've worked with that particular something before. My question is, does this gimmick last? Because in my opinion, most of these gimmicks are quite iffy.
Yes, so to answer your question, I spent over 30 minutes making this, but after mucking around with it for about 10 minutes or so, the entire thing just decided to give up on me.
Okay, so basically, 2-3 performances before I...
Perhaps, but that could simply be because it is the first time I'm making that gimmick, and maybe if you get the pre-made one, it might last even longer. It could just be due to my bad workmanship.
I see. Would you then recommend people to just get, the one with the gimmick for a start so that you can play with it, and then maybe after you're familiar with the gimmick, then to do it yourself? Or?
Well, I feel that you can go either way because even if you do not have the special something, I'm sure you can purchase it yourself outside. And if you have an entire amount of that, you can make as many gimmicks as you want.
Okay.
So yeah, in terms of getting the pre-made one, I would say, yeah, sure, why not? Just to play around with it. But if you really, really want to get hands-on with it, then go for the DIY version. I think it will really help you in terms of teaching you just the basics of how to make gimmicks like this without revealing too much.
Okay. And did they include enough for like more than one gimmick, or was it?
So yes, I was pretty sad about this. Like I said, I spent really long making it and then it broke really quickly. It could be I was too rough, but after it broke, I tried repairing it, and then I opened up the DVD and I realized that, hey, I don't have enough to make a second one. Which means to say that they only gave you enough of the special something to make only one of these gimmicks.
Okay, so basically with a DIY version, you get to make one gimmick and that's it.
Yep, so if you do not want to spend that 20-30 minutes just making it, you can always just get the pre-made one for, I think it's about 10 USD more than the DIY version.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's enough about the gimmick, I guess. My question would then be more on the effect itself right now. The effect itself sounds incredible if it is something that you can see just like that from one hand to the other. And I have seen the video itself. It looks visually very stunning. Would you say that that is like exactly how you would see it in real life?
I would say yes. It is truly very stunning. It is absolutely stunning. And the only issue that I really do have with it is that in real life, you might see an extra something on the special card itself. Because although you can really cover that up on a camera, in real life with certain lighting conditions, you might be able to see that something.
I see. Okay. Would you then do it for your performances?
Personally, I would save this for things like social media, like Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. But in terms of an actual performance, I might not do it because the gimmick itself does look pretty thick. It's about maybe four cards thick, like its thickness itself. So I mean, you don't want to be in a situation when you are performing and you kind of have to face the face of the gimmick to the audience at all times, because there will be times where you have to toss the gimmick from one hand to the other, and if it looks too thick, it might raise a bit of suspicions. Of course, you can toss it and immediately place it back on the deck to kind of camouflage it, but maybe it's not really for me in this case.
Okay, so I guess real life conditions, the angles wise,
it can be done. It can be done. It's supposed to be 360 degrees on this because, and I would agree. I actually would agree because the gimmick works really, really well, and you really can see this in 360 degrees. It's just that it's a little bit thick on a little bit of the sides.
All right, so I guess angles wise, it might be a little bit of a telltale giveaway.
Yeah.
Okay, but it is 360.
It is. It definitely is. So let's talk a little bit more about the skill level required. Over here it says it's 2.5 bars.
Okay.
I would say that perhaps slightly less, maybe about a 2, because you really do have to practice catching the gimmick in your other hand, or it will not really look that good.
Okay.
And in terms of audience management, I think it's actually less than a 2, because audience management wise, you don't have to manage much. After they select the card, you're placing it into a box, and they're just sandwiching the box or just holding the box itself. The only thing you need to manage is probably to make sure they don't open up the box, but I've never had anything like that happen on me before.
Sure.
So yeah, you just have to make sure that they don't grab the gimmick and they don't open up the box. Other than that, there's really not much of any audience management in this because it's just so visual that people get stunned for a bit and you have more than enough time to clean up.
Would you then say that you would recommend this for most people? Or?
Well, I feel that if you really work with this gimmick and if you perhaps practice a lot with it and if you make a lot of it, then yes, you can work with this. But if you are just busting this out of the box and maybe just making one as a hobbyist or just for fun, I do not really think that you should bring this out unless you're really, really good with it.
Sounds like something you can play around with, but make sure you've got to really get it down before you bring it into the real world.
Yes, because you don't want the gimmick to fail on you halfway, and that's going to be quite problematic.
Okay.
So that's our review for In a Flash. We hope you've enjoyed this. I think that this is, although there were a little bit of setbacks in terms of my gimmick and all that, I think this is actually a brilliant idea. I think because of that, I wouldn't give this a very low rating, but yeah, play around with it. Maybe it's something for you. My name is Mark.
I'm Adeline.
Thank you so much and see you again.
See you.